Okay, we got to get music for that. Hey, everybody.
On your phone.
It's the debut episode of the Music Nerds Podcast. I'm Paul Fontaine. To my left, I guess, is Dan LeCue. Underneath me is Seb, and beside him is Jeff. And this is the Music Nerds Podcast opening episode. We're going to see how this goes. Just a little bit of background here. I've known all these guys for a longish time. I think Seb is probably the one I've known the least length of time. We've known each other for 6 years, maybe. But I talk to Seb almost every day, like on chat. And you're also the only person that I've never actually met face to face in real life. Dan, I've known the longest for 30 years, maybe.
1994 is when we actually officially met, but it was kind of not really met. We didn't meet till almost 20 years later. But
2014, I was in New York, and Dan came and met me in Times Square from all the way from New Jersey. He came out there and made the trip, and we had lunch together, and we had a great time. And Jeff and I have known each other about 15, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we met in Vegas, and we all the connection we all have isn't actually music; it's wrestling. None of us would know each other if it wasn't for wrestling. So, but we also over the years I've kind of learned that you all have a love for music, as do I. So I thought it would be interesting to get us all together. Seb's in outskirts of Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Jeff's in LA. Dan's in New Jersey. So, different backgrounds. And so the first thing I kind of wanted to talk about was how we listen. What kind of music do we listen to? So for me, I listen to everything, but if you ask me, what's my go-to kind of happy place, it's probably 70s mellow rock, is for me. Seb, what about you?
So I'm very specific. So 1994 to 1995.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No,
Nice.
I listened to virtually everything growing up. I listened to a lot of oldies because my parents listened to them. And so I listened to a lot of old country and rock. But yeah, 1990s music is my sweet spot. And the only real thing I don't listen to is modern country.
And your daughters, you're kind of getting them into that stuff now too, right?
Yeah, they actually listen to some much weirder stuff. So they're actually teaching me a little bit right now because my oldest is into a lot of gaming type music and she's just gotten into musicals. So she actually knows more about those than I do now. And then my youngest is on a Spice Girls kick. So she's introduced me to a lot of pop stuff that I wasn't naturally into. So
what's that player that one of your kids uses? I've never heard of it. You mentioned it.
The Yodo player. So she's into physical media now, which makes me super proud because all music's going to go away soon. But she brings that thing around with her everywhere, and she'll listen to Spice Girls, and she listens to the Wicked soundtrack and just a bunch of other things. But it's like her own mini boombox, and it reminds me of me when I was a kid, just going around with CDs.
So Yodo.
Yodo.
Jeff's got this puzzled look on his face. You never heard of it either, right?
Yeah, it's YOTO. It's big amongst the youth. So
okay. And Jeff, you're what are you, 60s soul?
Most anything with a horn section. A lot of times, but it's
Chicago.
Anything from 50s to 90s. I like a lot of southern bluesy rock in my collection I have, and that also includes all the British groups that were inspired by southern bluesy rock as
Which
well.
Which may include one of the bands we're going to talk about later.
Okay, cool. I thought you were going Australian female.
No. Okay.
And then after 2000, I have a lot of 90s rap. I have some mid 90s country, female country in me for some reason.
Oh yeah, me too. Like Pam
Shania,
Tillis.
Susie Boggess, Kathy Mattea, those types.
Pam Tillis?
And then, Pam Tillis. I have a little bit of Pam Tillis in there too. Yeah.
Mary Chapin Carpenter.
Mary Chapin Carpenter, Emmylou Harris.
Okay.
And then after 2000, it would be bands that I picked up watching other bands. I have a lot of those. I have a lot of random Los Angeles and even Austin area funk groups for some reason in my repertoire. Just a weird eclectic thing of if it sounds funky, I'll put it on there, and I really kind of dig that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's mostly. I'm almost like when he said 94, 95, I go, yes, my senior year in college. And that's when I stopped having, when I stopped having taste. Yeah.
That's when I had 2 children already. Like, Dan, so if you've ever watched 94 to 98 ECW, that's probably Dan's music library.
Oh.
Yeah, probably,
Right?
probably, maybe. I mean, I have records behind me. You see stuff. I don't know.
Oh,
I haven't
yeah.
looked now. I got Clutch back there. I got Dead South. Actually, I know that's a big Canadian band. You know, it's a
Oh, yeah.
but that wasn't 90s. But there's other stuff like Elvis, and I'm looking behind me right now. The Doors, Al Stewart, Dropkick Murphys, like those. Like I just have like a weird taste, And suddenly,
Dropkick Murphys like a Celtic band, right?
yeah, Celtic band. Yeah, Celtic
Okay.
band. Yeah, and I just got like a weird taste of like music and stuff. But I love the '90s stuff as well. I mean, just specifically like mid to late '90s, and then I start getting into like the early 2000s. And I used to go to a lot of clubs as well. So a lot of the club music from like the 2005 to 2008 era, I like those as well. But then I started getting into like, oh, let me listen to some new. So I like have no specific genre that I dislike or like. Like everything is just
so not even dislike
place.
Like Seb with modern country. You're not.
If anything, I would probably say country might be my least favorite, but I don't dislike it. There's some country stuff that I do like. So yeah,
I own about, I don't know, 300 CDs, and I don't own a CD player, which is ironic. Although I am getting one, but and of those, I think 2 are country. And one is Garth Brooks and one is Shania Twain. So I'm not like terribly into country. But you brought up your vinyl, and so that's the next question is, so obviously you listen to your vinyl?
Yes, I'll listen to vinyl
regularly, or is that your go-to,
yeah,
or is it just?
It's usually my go-to. Like if I find something that like, hey, just came out, released, and I really want to get it, I'll buy it. I'll listen to it on vinyl because it's just such an old school way of listening to things, and I just love that. You know, it's just like so great. I'm just even like I have a whole bunch of Beatles records, whole bunch of Clutch. Clutch is my big band that I like. That's my favorite band. But
I've got a vinyl, like I got a record player, and I got this stack of records that I just literally found in my house. I don't know where they came from. Some of them were from a library. Like they still have, like the little card that you used to have in like the 80s and 90s. Yeah. And then my mother-in-law was cleaning out her house, and my wife went and helped her, and she brought all these. She went through them and grabbed a bunch of records she thought I would like. A bunch of them were Beatles. Mm-hmm. There was a Janet Jackson record in there, which like I don't know what my mother-in-law is doing with a Janet Jackson record, but my wife thinks it might have been a present for her that somebody bought her, and she doesn't like Janet Jackson, so it's just.
Are you saying your mother-in-law is not a member of the Rhythm Nation?
She's not. No.
Okay.
There was a Lionel Richie record in there, which may have been hers. I don't know. Cool. And I had the USA for Africa record, which
wow.
I mean, it actually has other songs on it, and there were artists like Prince has a song in there, and he wasn't on the USA. He wasn't on the We Are the World thing, but he did an album for this, or a track for this album. So it was kind of cool. But I do listen to that, but maybe like once a week. My go-to is YouTube Music. I will just pick a song, and I have different ways of picking the songs, and then I'll make a playlist off of the song. And that's how I kind of learn new music. Jeff, what about you? Like what's your kind of go-to format?
I digitized all my music. I was one of those people in the mid 90s to late 90s who had internet relay chat and hashtag jukebox and whatnot, and just downloaded a lot of stuff too. And I also worked for a radio station in the mid 90s when I was in college, and they switched format. They tried to get rid of all their CDs, so I basically picked up everything I could that I liked out of there.
Oh, nice.
Put that, but I've also just gone to Apple Music because you can't fight it if you want.
So when you're listening to Apple Music, though, are you finding albums, or do you do that radio station thing?
No. It's things that I'm in the mood for, and then if they suggest something out of that, I'll give it a try. That's how.
Because if you play a song, it'll just autoplay whatever they think you're gonna like next. Right.
Yeah, or you go, or you request a song, and then like it'll say, we'll think you'll like this, and I found a lot of music I've liked that way. One of the weirdest stories I have is I'm in Arizona right now, and I was here after my dad passed, and for some reason I picked up on this weird story about how REO Speedwagon has a Sly Stone song that he produced and wrote. It's called "You Can Fly," and it sounds like REO Speedwagon doing a Sly and the Family Stone song. It's absolutely fascinating. But the next song was by a group called T-Bird and the Breaks, which is a funk collective out of Austin, and they're awesome, and I love them, and I've just gotten really into them. They don't do as many albums now as they did, but they just came out with one. But they're really good. They're really kind of a throwback to the types of soul groups with horns. So I really dug that.
Our music guy Dan is feverishly googling right now to try to find some of these bands.
I
So
just
he
listened
can
to
add-
T-Bird in the breaks,
yeah.
and I was like, this really does look
'Cause
very
if-
interesting to me right now.
If you're watching on YouTube, we can't play the music, but we will have an audio version, and Dan's going to insert some music into that later.
Start
so
with-
maybe you'll.
Start with Two Tone Cadillac, Dan. It's a
There
really
you go.
cool song.
There you go. And Seb, what about you? I know you and I both
Mhm.
listen to all the shows that our friend David Lovell, who may guest on the show on occasion, puts out. But other than that, what kind of stuff do you listen to? Like, how do you listen? I
Yeah.
should say?
So right now I'm doing all of the Apple Music, and I have I'll have to spell it out, Alexa player, because she's in the room with me and she will start playing something. But I have it hooked up, so I have I think 6 around the house.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're all connected. So if I'm going around the house, then I'll just have them play.
And you got your
and the-
kids got your family plan. And
Yeah, and I've got the family plan. And lately I've been just asking her to start with Tragically Hip, and then she'll start playing playlists for stuff that I like. And it will just start going into just more obscure stuff that I haven't heard in a long time, which is kind of actually I'm wearing my Tragically Hip shirt right now.
nice.
I've just
And
been on
Dan
a
and
kick for
and
that,
Jeff,
yeah.
you're not from the state. You're not from Canada, so you don't get the hip, but
I've heard of the hip. I just
You know,
it's a
they were
birthright
never-
thing in Canada.
You,
Like
you know I've listened to so many of David's shows, and I say I've never heard of this band before, and then sure enough, I hear like Moxie Fruvis, Tragically Hip. I hear all these things, and they all sound familiar to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh! I'm like, all right, now
Well,
I know
they're-
who you're talking about.
No,
I mean,
you're a
Moxie
fan.
Fruits is different, but the hip is like, think of like your most iconic American band, and that's the hip to us. Like
Okay.
we're learning this stuff in the crib. Like
I've never been cool with my taste in music, Paul. I was always like, I was raised in a very straight-laced house that boomer rock all the way when I was a kid. And, you know, everybody was listening to all these college groups and stuff. I go, I don't know who that is. You know, it's like
Oh,
REM
this-
was
I mean,
edgy to me.
the hip is, but I mean, it's like it's just everybody. Like you go to
Yeah.
any bar, and if Blow It High Dough comes on, like everyone just stops what they're doing and sings along. You know, like and
Yeah,
right?
and just to give you just an example of how big they are, I know, Paul, I sent this to you a few months ago.
Yeah.
My daughter just finished grade 7, and she had in her history book a section that was on Gord Downey, who's the lead singer of the Hip, and they just learn about him in school. So
Yeah.
just
He
a massive band. So
passed
whenever-
away about 10 years ago.
It was 2017, so almost
20,
10
yeah, almost 10 years. Yeah, their last concert was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Their last concert was broadcast live on the CBC, which is, you know, like NBC, CBS, ABC, you know, and yeah, they're just huge.
Yeah,
Jeff,
I
you
think
look at you want to
over
say something.
10 million people watched.
Yeah, which is a third of the country. So that's like 100 million in the States, something like that. So,
Mm.
Jeff, you look like you're going to say something. Oh, okay.
No.
All right. So yeah, so that's how we do. And then like, so I use YouTube and Apple. And so what I do is I use Apple for the new stuff, and I use YouTube Music for the older stuff. No reason for that. It's like, I wish I could cancel one of them, but I prefer YouTube Music, and my wife loves Apple Music and will not use YouTube. So we end up paying for both. And so
I've got Spotify and Apple Music
I was gonna
because
say,
my
no
daughter
one-
cannot.
no one's- Yeah, no one says Spotify. I was very shocked about that. I mean, if I'm not listening to records, usually it's Spotify or YouTube as well. And I'm just very shocked to hear nobody says Spotify until Seb, you just said Spotify. And I was like, oh, I'm like, there we go. Finally, someone says Spotify. But I love Spotify too. I mean, it's so easy to find almost anything on there.
yeah.
Now,
and
are you
same
guys
with
album listeners, or do you like pick and choose songs? Because I'm a song guy. If
I
I'm
do
in the mood
both.
for
Song.
certain songs.
Well, kind of both. Yeah, song more
Okay.
or less. So like you, Jeff. Yeah.
Mostly songs, but and this brings me to my next thing I want to talk about. I started something last year where I decided I was going to listen to every single #1 album that's ever been made, and start on Billboard. So I looked it up, and the Billboard charts kind of started charting albums around 1946. So I literally started with 1946 and finding all these albums. Now, in the earlier days, some of them you couldn't find the album, but I was able to find the track listings, and then I put together song lists for the album. So I actually made so if you go to my YouTube, search, I guess it's Grandpa Des, I think is my YouTube name. You can find the playlist that I made for the albums that weren't out there. And every other one I was just able to find. And I started in 1946. I'm up to 1974. And I let these guys know. So in the last week, I listened to I'm into 1974 now. I just got to find the albums here. So starting with, if you want to Google while you're listening, you just Google 1974 Billboard #1 albums. And I think so for this week, I would have started with the Sting. No, Chicago 7. So Chicago 7, then the Sting soundtrack, Sundown, Gordon Lightfoot, which I absolutely loved. Caribou by Elton John, Back Home Again, John Denver, 461 Ocean Boulevard by Eric Clapton, which that might as well have been a country album. Like I was shocked. I was expecting like hard rock or something, but it was pretty cool. Fullingness' first finale with Stevie Wonder, Bad Company by Bad Company, and Endless Summer by the Beach Boys. Those are the ones I've listened to in the last little while. Endless Summer was like a greatest hits kind of album. But the one I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if any of you have ever heard it or how big of a fan you are of this band. I know Jeff is. Bad Company.
Oh yeah.
Guys, only Jeff one like this.
Yeah. I was blown away by how great that album was. And you, Jeff, you mentioned it when you saw the list, and I was like, I like Bad Company, I guess, but as I'm listening to it, it's like, because when I think of Bad Company, I think of Bad Company, the song, and and even that, like, I was thinking in my head, I don't really like that song all that much. Then when the song was playing, I was like, damn, this is a great song. I was thinking about the wrestling team that used to come out to it.
Oh yeah, and they always had that problem because like it takes a while to get going. Because you have the piano intro and stuff like that. But the opening track, Can't Get Enough, is one of my favorite tracks by them because it's a nice little bluesy type thing. Paul Rogers is
the second track is, I think, the best on the album.
Oh, Rock Steady.
Oh my God, that was great. I love that song.
No, I've been a big Paul Rogers fan for a long time. I went and saw him when he was fronting for Queen. I also really liked his supergroup, The Firm, if you remember that, with Jimmy Page and Radioactive and stuff like that. Yeah. But I mean, this has like 5 songs that still get heavy classic rock
Moving
play.
On.
It's just Moving On, Bad Company, Ready for Love, Rocksteady, and Can't Get Enough are all radio
and
tunes.
Don't Let Me Down. Like at first I was wondering, is that the same as the Beatles song? And like it's not, but it sounds kind of similar, like especially in the chorus. But yeah, I love that one. Now, Seb, I posted Rocksteady and you commented on it. Did you actually listen to it?
Oh, for the whole?
No, just that one song.
Yeah, I know nothing about Bad Company, so.
Oh, okay, no, because in our other group chat that actually this podcast is based on, I had posted it and I thought you loved it, but I don't always listen when I react to it either, so that's fine.
Oh, I probably did love it at the time, but I've also got like goldfish memory right now.
That's fine, but I encourage y'all, Rocksteady. Oh man, I love that song.
Speaking of which, there's actually a connection from one of Dan's former comments because Five Finger Death Punch did a cover of Bad Company, by the way.
Really?
Did they? That is hysterical.
Yes.
My favorite Bad Company song is probably Shooting Star.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like Silver, Blue, and Gold. I think might be my favorite.
Not Silver and Gold.
No, not Burl Ives. Jesus.
I had a tag team in e-wrestling that Dan will remember. It was the Hitman Ron Silver and Terrence Goldsworthy, and they came out to Silver and Gold by Burl Ives.
Yeah.
No.
Nice.
That was for you, Doug, if you're listening. Dan knows what I'm talking about. You got any thoughts on Bad Company, Dan?
Not really. I mean, I was just looking it up, trying to figure out if we actually ever put, Paul, if you remember, we were doing a 32 album music tournament, and I'm I'm like, did we ever put the Bad Company on here? I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember if we did or not. I'm trying to look it up.
So.
I don't think you could. There aren't many albums that would qualify for that other than the self-titled one, because the other ones have hits, but they weren't monster. Right. It wasn't a monster album. I mean, you could probably
this one was. I mean, it went to #1.
Yeah, so. You could probably put Straight Shooter in a tournament or
and I don't see we did. I mean, I just looked it up and I was like, I don't think we ever did. So I'm probably not. Once I listen to songs, I'm like, yeah, I'll be familiar with a lot of these songs, but like I just don't remember a lot of them. So I had to like I was like, yeah, when I started listening, when you mentioned Rocksteady, I'm like, I do remember that one. I remember that was a great song.
One of the albums that we could have done and probably should have was one I listened to last week was Jim Croce, Photographs, or is it Croce? Photographs and Memories. It's unbelievable, and I don't think we ever did that one, did we, Dan?
I don't think so.
Because that one is every track on that album is great.
Oh, just by the way, just to put a button on the Bad Company talk, if you also have heard Freeze All Right Now, that's Paul Rogers and Simon Kirk from Bad Company on the drums for that one too.
Okay,
so.
yeah, All Right Now is great song.
Yeah.
Did you so Seb, I'd sent you the list and you listened to a couple of them, right? You weren't a fan of Stevie, or no, you weren't a fan of Elton.
It's not that I'm not a fan of Elton. I'd never heard that album before, start to finish. And so I didn't know most of the stuff from that album. I think I knew 2 songs off of it.
Yeah, probably Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me and The Bitch Is Back.
The Bitch Is Back, which is might be
those
his best
those were both those were both great. The rest of the album,
I
my era.
I feel the same. Honky, there was the album I listened to maybe like last month, the one with Honky Cat on it. That one was great. Don't Shoot the Piano Player, I think was the name of that album. That's a good one. I like that one.
Have you heard the story of the lyrics of The Bitch Is Back?
You know what? When you mention it, I'll probably remember. It's not what people think, though, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's Bernie Taupin and Elton John are fighting at this time, and they're having a really just awful time songwriting right now. And so Bernie Taupin decides to take it out on Elton, and he's the bitch. And so he's writing about all this stuff and all his frustrations with Elton John, and it becomes The Bitch Is Back.
Okay, yeah. They're so great together, and I was an Elton fan. Like, so I found Elton when I was a kid, like 12, 13, in his comeback. So this would have been like Nikita and like that era, and then
Empty Garden, that era.
A little bit after that.
Okay.
Although Empty Garden was probably my favorite song of his, but then I found, like, I bought an Elton John's Greatest Hits CD. I got it on one of those Columbia Record and Tape Club things, and then I discovered all his older music, and then I started really getting into him, and he's had. So this is one of the conversations that it kind of told my wife that we needed to make a podcast out of this, because Seb, you'll remember this. We had a conversation about Elton John, and so our friend David was involved in this conversation as well, and we were arguing about how like basically what he was most famous for or something like that. And so Seb, I think you said The Lion King.
The Lion King, yeah.
David was no, it's the song that he did for Princess Di. And I'm like, this dude was a mega star in the 70s before any of this stuff ever happened. He had like 8 #1 albums in a row and like a catalog that would rival the Beatles. And so we're all, like, I'm sure everyone has become an Elton John fan at different times he's had such an amazing career.
Yeah.
He was so prolific because he used to come out with like an album a year, maybe 2 albums a year in his early days. But there was a lot of junk on those albums too. If you look at them, it's like, he was just so prolific.
7 #1 albums in a row in the 70s.
Oh yeah,
like unbelievable. And then I didn't even know like all that stuff about like the Lion King. Like I knew he had the song, but I didn't realize he was responsible for all that. And then the musical after it.
Yeah, it was him and Tim
Aria.
Rice, but I think it was the #1 grossing musical of all time now.
Yeah,
I think it still holds that record. Yeah,
and the soundtrack's probably up there too. And then
it's weird. If you ask me, it was the weird costumes in the 70s and the Crocodile Rock and Benny and the Jets.
The Benny Jets. I was just thinking about Benny and the Jets. I was just looking up and I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, how did he have all these weird costumes? And Benny and the Jets show sure enough popped up. And then there's all these events popping up. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, New York, January 2nd, $39 at Sony Hall. I'm like, wow. I'm like, that's really cheap.
Benny and the Jets
Benny Jets
has a Winnipeg connection.
Yeah.
Because the Winnipeg Jets were created by a guy named Benny Haskins. I'm not even joking. Like, so I don't know if that's where he got that song title from, but I mean, it was played here because Benny and the Jets, like he's the guy that signed Bobby Hall away from the NHL.
I don't know about that. I just know it's about a mythical band. So
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe it's just a weird coincidence then, and it's right around the same time frame because that was 1973 that the Jets signed Bobby Hall. So,
I mean, you might be right because Elton John wrote a song for World Team Tennis back in the 70s. Philadelphia Freedom is for Billie Jean King's tennis team in Philadelphia. So maybe
another great song. Like, oh my god,
I love that song.
Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, and like, oh my god, just an incredible career that dude's had.
Yeah,
And,
he's also a Toronto guy now because he married David Furnish quite a long time ago.
Honorary Canadian.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
he's
he's
2014, right? That's when he married in 2014, right?
It was around that time. Yeah, I can't remember the exact date.
Seb knows every single international person that's ever even looked at a Canadian.
Well, he actually was at a show here. He didn't perform, but he won an award. And during the show, he said that he's now like honorary Canadian and Toronto guy.
Oh,
and,
cool.
Yeah, because
am I the only non-Canadian? Hold on, am I the only non-Canadian on this show?
Okay. No, I'm not Canadian. I'm not Canadian. I might as well be because I played hockey for so long. So
yeah,
you're in the Northeast though, so you're on like the weird.
Well, Jeff is originally from from
Virginia.
Yeah, so that's Southeast, right?
I mean, I'll drop a Sass Jordan or Colin James reference here and there. I'll be fine.
Colin James is amazing. Love me some Colin James.
Sheepdogs.
Yeah. And then the other one was the Stevie Wonder album, which was gotta get the title. I already forgot it. Fullingness's First Finale, which I'll be honest, I'd never heard of. And Jeff, you were familiar with this album. Seb, you obviously weren't, right? But
I'm familiar with songs. I'm familiar with Boogie On, Reggae Woman, and also because Musiquarium Volume 1, I think, was the first Stevie album I got. You Haven't Done Nothing is the track after Superstition on that one. So, interesting enough, I'm looking at the lineup of the personnel on here. Michael Sembello, he of Maniac fame from Flashdance, on electric guitar on one of them, and Denise Williams, who may come up in the Bonnie Tyler discussion in her own way. It was on background vocals.
So apparently this song, that one you just mentioned, You Haven't Done Nothing, it was a #1 hit. I don't even know this song.
Was it the R&B chart, or was it actually a #1?
Says the
top
pop
40 hit?
It says the pop charts.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's a good
and
song.
#1 in Canada too. But I don't know. I wasn't familiar with it. I liked the album. To me, it was like, it sounded basically just like an extra, extra like 10 songs that didn't make the cut for Songs in the Key of Life. Which I love that album. So I liked it. Seb, it put you to sleep, but that's not necessarily. But that's not necessarily a diss.
No, it was beautiful, and it was a lullaby, and I'm just old, so it was fun.
There you go. You're old. You're probably the youngest one here.
Stevie's making a comeback with the younger generation too, because Isn't She Lovely was in The Amazing Digital Circus, and my oldest daughter has introduced me to Stevie Wonder now because she's been listening to him nonstop for the past month. So
has she heard the album version of Isn't She Lovely?
I couldn't tell you. I have to ask her that.
Find out, because it's great. Because it's got, like, you hear the baby crying at the beginning, and
nice.
Yeah.
Because it was written for his daughter, right?
Right. Yeah. People don't realize it's written about a kid that was just born. They think he's right. It's like a love song, and I mean, I guess it is to his little girl. But yeah, it's cool. And man, that Songs in the Key of Life. It's funny. The first time I'd heard about this album and how great it was and everything, and then I finally went and bought it. And the first time I listened to it, it was like, that's okay. Like, I don't get what all the fuss is about, but every time I listen to it, I like it more. Like, it's so good.
And you were mentioning that You Haven't Done Nothing. I was just looking it up, Paul, and reached #1, 4th #1 pop hit, and 10th #1 soul hit, #1 in Canada, and UK single. It's been 5 weeks on that chart, peaking at number 30. So it didn't reach #1 in the US, but it also had a background vocals by Jackson 5.
Yeah. Actually, Garrett told me that when I mentioned it.
Because he says it on the album, Jackson 5, and they go doo-doo-wop. Yeah, when they go into the chorus part.
Their Jackson 5 is one that, like, they were just, for whatever reason, like, kind of off my radar as a kid. Like, they just didn't get a lot of play up here. Now, even though Seb and I are both Canadian, he's from the center of the universe in Toronto, and they might as well be a different country. So our backgrounds are a lot different when it comes to like, especially like the 90s stuff, like a lot of that R&B, like soul music that you like, I didn't even hear back then, like the TLC and Brandy and stuff like that. Like it's just was off my Luther. I heard the name, but I never heard his music. It was weird. So Jeff, you brought up Bonnie Tyler. We definitely want to talk about her. Just recently, was it like Thursday, passed away?
Yeah.
And so I mentioned the first Bonnie Tyler song I ever knew, I thought was called "It's a Hard Egg."
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, when I was a kid.
Oh my god.
I thought it was like they're singing about hard-boiled eggs. But
That's it.
no,
I'm leaving. I can't. You're not even music.
I was 10,
I'm out to
man.
Jeff later.
I was 10. But no, I mean, it's a great song. It's a heartache, and it was number one song in Canada. And then of course probably best known for not Hold On for Hero, but Total Eclipse of the Heart. Yeah. And then Hold On for a Hero from Footloose, which actually I was surprised wasn't a big hit, but still gets played on the radio.
It's I mean, well, yeah, Bonnie Tyler and her Jim Steinman phase.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Jim
yeah.
Steinman is just. If you don't know Jim Steinman, 2 words: meatloaf.
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty much. But also, like all his songs are very
One word, by the
orchestral,
way.
including the ones, it was 2. Meatloaf is his name
I
in
thought it
terms
was
of
one
his
word.
albums.
Oh
Nope.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Learn something new every day.
Because on the set of Fight Game, people called him Mr. Loaf, and it was.
Oh
very
yeah, you're right.
But no, Steinman is an interesting guy because I generally do not like his songs, but I do appreciate the musicianship and kind of the orchestral big feeling. I mean, even if you don't like a Meatloaf song, other people who record his songs, Total Eclipse of the Heart, Air Supply's Making Love Out of Nothing at All is a
Celine
Jim
Dion.
Steinman tune.
Yeah.
Celine
It's all
Dion,
coming back to me now. Yeah.
It's all coming back to me now. Yeah. And for sports fans, he was a campmate of Tony Kornheiser from Pardon the Interruption. If you, because he always would name drop him on his podcast. But it kind of, I was looking this up. That Footloose soundtrack, we're holding out for a hero. That thing is a murderer's row. There are 7 out of the 8 songs on there. 7 of them were hits, maybe 6.5 if you don't count the adult contemporary one. But it's like hit after hit after hit, and all in various genres about a Midwest town where they outlawed dancing. And yet you have Dancing in the Sheets by Shalimar. You have Denise Williams, Let's Hear It for the Boy. You have 2 Kenny Loggins tunes that were both hits. I mean, they don't make movie sound. I mean, most movie soundtracks that are hits are ones with like already previous songs that people know that are earworms that people like. This was one where it's like 7 of the 8 songs made for this movie became hits, and you're just looking at it going, and I didn't like Footloose when it came out. I don't know how it became, but this is also the time where movies would spend 2 years in theaters if they were hits because you didn't really have a home video type thing. But I was trying to think of the last one that was kind of like that, and it's like you have those soundtracks where everybody has them, like Pulp Fiction and stuff, but you don't really have a lot of soundtracks where it's like all the songs were made for this movie and people still rush to go buy that album.
I honestly, I'm thinking about it and I can't, like, the only other one I could think of like that would be like Saturday Night Fever.
I was just thinking that.
But that was before this. That was before
Bodyguard
this.
was after.
Bodyguard, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Bodyguard was, I really like Queen of the Night.
I'm laughing because we're talking about holding out for Hero, and I'm laughing at the scene that was in, and it was just like they're with the 2 tractors, and that song's going do, and the tractors are going so slow. They're trying to play chicken with each other, and I'm just I'm like what? I watched it again today, and I haven't seen this movie in so long, and I go, wow, this is just so bad that it was good.
That song has Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say
was
that
just-
song has traction. Ironically,
Yeah.
like it's used in commercial stuff. It was just used in the Masters of the Universe movie.
It was also
That
used
was-
in
that was
short,
out.
also used in Short Circuit too. I don't know if you remember that, where Johnny
Yes,
Five was
yes.
going after what the heck's the guy's name? Oscar. think
I
his name?
literally
Yeah.
just watched Footloose for the first time last year, and I enjoyed it.
Well,
Like
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout
The
out
remake
to
is
Dean
terrible. Don't
Pitchford.
go watch that one.
I haven't
Dean
seen a remake.
Pitchford
Thanks for letting me
wrote
know.
every song on this album. Did you know that? Dean
What?
Pitchford. Dean
Okay.
Pitchford wrote every song on this album.
Is he the screenwriter of Footloose?
No, he's a like a songwriter. And I learned this because I was listening to Sirius, the '80s countdown that they do on there, and one of the was Mark Goodman, Alan Hunter, and Nina Blackwood. And one of them,
No, you're wrong. Pitchford wrote the screenplay for the motion picture Footloose.
but he wrote all these songs. They pull up
Yes.
the soundtrack listing.
No, I believe you,
Oh.
but I asked, did he
Oh,
write
okay.
the
Gotcha.
screenplay? And you go, no.
Oh, I didn't know.
All right.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
Eric
But yeah.
Carmen wrote a song on this soundtrack. I love it.
Yeah, Almost Paradise, which Canadian on that.
Banger.
Yeah.
If
I
I,
mean,
can throw in a terrible note about the remake, the biggest song from that one was Catch Hell Blues by the White Stripes, and I love the White Stripes. That song's phenomenal, but that was not an original for that movie. That movie had like no original songs as far as I know. It was just, it had nothing compared to
When was that one done?
2010 or 2011
Okay.
Yeah.
in the ballpark. Yeah.
Not someone asked me when I said I watched Footloose, and they're like, was it the remake? I'm like, I don't think so. I hope it wasn't. My daughter was actually in Footloose in a musical.
Oh,
when,
that's right.
back
They
in-
made a musical out of that.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
back 2005 maybe, I think it was, when she was in it. She played like the aunt, even though she was a teenager. They put her in the aunt role, and so I hadn't seen it, and then so when I saw her play, I was not familiar with the movie at all, and obviously the movie is quite a bit different from the play, but Bonnie, like I think she's bigger in the UK because she's from
Yes.
Wales, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, it's like she's kind of only known, really, like most people only really think of Total Eclipse of the Heart, which had a kind of a, Seb will probably remember this, the version was Nikki French that
Yes.
did the remake of it. Yeah, but she had like a ton of hits in the UK, but just the three big ones here. But yeah, I always kind of get her and Kim Carnes mixed up. I don't
Yeah,
know,
because they're both raspy. I was going to bring up Kim
Yeah.
Carnes just then. It's kind of in the same vein, but it's a heartache when you get play on like those 70s AM stations / country. That kind of also delved a little bit into the country thing because the charts were still combined at the time. So you had your John Denver and your like Eddie Rabbit would cross over
Living
in
in
there.
John,
Crystal
Kenny
Gale.
Rogers.
Yeah.
If you like Kim Carnes, and Jeff, I know you do, and other people listening, I'd encourage you to listen to the album Voyeur. I think it's from like 1981. I actually have the vinyl. That album's great. I love it. She's great. Like I was surprised. Like I've been listening to a lot of 80s charts lately, and she had like a lot of hits, like way more than you would think. She's known for Betty Davis Eyes, but I mean, she had
Right.
so many
Which is a
other
banger.
ones.
Love
Yeah,
that song, by the way.
Yeah, that's great. The other person that had passed away recently that Jeff wanted to talk about was David Clayton Thomas.
David Clayton Thomas, the lead singer of Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And I am a big fan of those 70s bands with like 14 members in a horn section, all of them, LTD, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Chicago, all of them that David Foster eventually got rid of the horn sections for all of them. But they are a tragic story. They, known for hits like Spinning Wheel, You Have Made Me So Very Happy, and When I Die, which is a Laura Nyro song. If you don't know Laura Nyro's songwriting, she's fantastic. She did stuff like Wedding Bell Blues, and she's really good. My favorite song by them is a song called Go Down Gamblin', because I play that every time I go into a poker tournament, and I'm a heavy poker player. But there's actually a documentary about this. It's called What Happened to Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Now, they had 2 #1 albums in 1969, 1970.
Yeah.
And then the State Department realized that David Clayton Thomas had a drug conviction and threatened to renege his visa because he's from Canada,
Yeah.
and so they wouldn't let him work in the United States. So the Nixon administration said, "Hey, we're doing this kind of Western culture outreach thing in the Eastern Bloc." So the government sent blood, sweat, and tears to, I think, Romania and Czechoslovakia to do shows over there, and they were hits. But they came back to the United States, and the music industry turned on them for being puppets of the Nixon administration, who weren't very popular because of Vietnam and all those other things. And they basically went straight from being like a number one band to like the county fair circuit. I mean, it was like instant.
I'm reading about this. They called it the 1970 Eastern Bloc Tour is what they called it.
Yeah, and it was just to save his career so he could actually stay in the States and make money for his band. And then after that, it was just like their career was dead.
A lot of protests that happened from that. Yeah, I'm reading. Yeah, then that they pretty much was died after that. And then I guess they must have came back later on or tried to come back later on. But yeah.
I like Heidi Ho.
Heidi Ho.
Yeah, that's a good one. And yeah, the three big hits obviously too.
But he's like one of those 20-year-olds with like the voice of like a 60-year-old who's been drinking like 2-3 bottles of bourbon a day and stuff. He's awesome. I love David Clayton Thomas.
It's like the older version of David. Who's the God? What's his name?
I was thinking the kid from if you ever watched The Commitments, the 1991 the Irish soul band, because that kid was like 16 and he sounded like a 34-year-old. You're like, what the hell is this?
Who's the guy that everybody loves and I hate? He's part of Farm Aid.
He's part of what?
Part of Farm Aid. He's on the board. Oh God!
Mellencamp?
No.
Dave Matthews?
Yes. Oh my God! That's what it kind of reminded me of. What your sounds like.
I have a connection to the Dave Matthews Band, by the way.
Really?
Their first concert was my first year picnic at the University of Virginia. And I was friends with the bass player because he played in jazz band with me for a while. Stefan Massard.
Oh wow,
yeah.
That's interesting.
Dan, you like Dave Matthews Band? Right?
Yeah, I like Dave Merrow. I mean, you've heard me play on some of the shows that we've been together on, and you're like really shocked. You're like, I never really heard some of these before. And I was like,
yeah.
You know, they never charted and blah blah blah. Yeah. Ants marching, right? Exactly. Yeah.
He was our bartender down at the downtown mall at Miller's. So.
Dave,
you're gonna be a big star. Shut up.
Station of the Dave Matthews Band, and I'm like, okay. Imagine.
I mean, they're okay. I'm like, I've never seen them in concert. Never seen them in concert. I mean, it's one of the bands I kind of wish I would have. I know they still put stuff out there too, but I just
they're a different band now without Boyd Tinsley.
Exactly. Yeah, they're a different band. I just never wanted to see.
And Leroy.
I just wanted to enjoy their music by listening to the music. You know, and that was it.
Yeah.
I saw them.
They were the $5 a week band on Tuesdays at the local watering hole. And you know, and like fraternities would hire them for parties and stuff. And like,
and then all the sorority girls go crazy.
I'm not paying $75 to go see them now, guys. I saw them for $5 a week. I know their catalog. They're good. Okay, great.
Yeah.
My joke was you'd go there and the only two people were were the only two black guys in the band and stuff. So.
Well, yeah, because they're a pretty big band, right? Like, They were big in that mid
'90s, college. They were college rock originally, and they got mainstream, kind of like how Hootie and the Blowfish eventually got out there. Because
REM was that too, but
they got turned on too. So
yeah, they got way bigger REM, and then Hootie, Darius Rucker went country. So, what about you with Dave Matthews Band? Seb, were they kind of off your radar? Because that's your era.
No. Yeah, it's my era. I know some of their stuff. They did a great song with Alanis, which "Don't Drink the Water."
Dan
might know that one. Yeah. So I always used to get them mixed up with Matthew Good Band until I started following them, and so I was always like lost.
Matthew Good's Canadian, right? So these guys got no idea what we're talking about. Yeah.
They can listen after.
I did the same. I'm talking our two co-hosts.
Yeah.
But I was the same with Dave Matthews and Matthew Good Band. I was the exact same. So it's not just you.
Yeah. But then Dave Matthews got Alanis for a song, and then Matthew Good got Holly McNarland. So there were different levels for sure.
I can't even believe the show
Seb calls
Dave
her,
Matthews Band. I can't believe
Seb calls her just Alanis because he comes from he was a fan. He's an old school fan before she got a last name.
Yeah.
Okay.
And her,
yeah.
you can't do that on television days from
Yeah,
way back.
she was Britney Spears of Canada. She had Too
The
Hot.
Robin Sparkles. Yeah.
Yeah. The first time I saw her was she performed on the NHL awards in like 1993, maybe 1992. You know, when they used to have like the big ceremony in Las Vegas, and you know, Wayne Gretzky would come out in his suit, and you know, like it was
That's where she met Dave Coulier as well. So that
at the NHL
started
awards,
Jagged Little Pills based on that NHL awards, basically.
Yeah, there you go. It's poor David had his whole sexual history brought up to the world.
I used to work in a movie theater, and let me tell you, that ruined like a lot of my experience there. The way Lance was singing.
Did you ever find anybody doing that stuff?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was always like the quiet movie. So if there was like 4 tickets sold, you'd have to go and patrol the theater because.
Why don't you just let them do their thing?
I mean, it was fine if they were like the only 2 people in there, because I didn't want to be the one to break it up.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it'd be like a kids movie, and it's like, bro, stop.
Yeah, I mean, but if there's only 4 people, like, that's my dream job, by the way, which I never got. I always wanted to work in a movie theater.
Oh, it's the best job in the world.
Yeah. What my favorite job that I ever had didn't pay well, and I mean, I would never do it now, but was working as a concessions guy at Winnipeg Jets games. So, and not just Winnipeg Jets, but anything at the Winnipeg Arena. So I got to see a lot of concerts for free because I would be the one going up and down the thing. They don't even really have this anymore, I don't think. Like going up and down the aisles, selling drinks, and it was cash. So you got tips, and then you got 10% of whatever you sold. That was what you made for the day. So that was fun. What, you ever had any fun jobs, Jeff?
Yes. When I was working. I
said this conversation could go anywhere. So.
Yeah. Well, I was working on the Universal Studios lot for a production company, and all you had to do was call upstairs to the Universal Amphitheater to get backstage passes for any show that was there. So I went and saw a lot of like, especially like charity events like the VH1 Honors and. I really liked this one. There's one you can look up. They did this for VH1. It's the All-Star Garage Band. When I was first working there, it was like Don Henley and Steve Winwood and Sheryl Crow and Eddie Van Halen and a bunch of other people. Was that in LA? Yeah.
Okay. And what about you? Yeah. Anything for you, Dan? Any interesting jobs?
I mean, probably the rink that I worked at, the Bridgewater Sports Arena I worked as a skate guard over there, but it was just not skate guard. It was, you know, there was other things I did, like, you know, in the arcades and stuff like that. I got to meet a lot of like NHL, former NHL players over there. And the best story I think I had was meeting a lot of the New Jersey Devils. I'm not even a Devils fan, but meeting the New Jersey Devils a year after they won the Stanley Cup, and they had like a charity game going on over there, and it was against one of the house league teams that we played against, and they were like, hey, you know, why don't you come here and just, you know, meet the Devils and so on and so on. So they got a whole bunch of people there, and I got to work the game and such like that, and you know, it was so fun. I was like, oh, that was just so fun and stuff like that. And I was just, that's so good. And you know, it was just, you have to take a picture of the Stanley Cup, and the funny part about is they don't even bring the Stanley Cup in a fancy car. They bring the Stanley Cup in the most beat down the car because they don't want people to know what's in the actual car. So like if they put it in a fancy car, people are like, oh, what's in there? What's in there? Somebody might try to steal it. Most beat up Honda Civic you've ever seen. Like 300,000 miles, look like it's going to fall apart. Big chest in there in the back. I had to help them carry it out into the rink. I'm like, what's in here? And they're like, just a Stanley Cup. And I thought they were joking.
Was it in a box or was it?
It was in a box. Yeah, it was like in a box. It was like in a big trunk. It was like in a big trunk. And then they took it out, and I was like, oh my god, it really was a Stanley Cup in there. I'm like, I couldn't even believe that. So yeah,
you got to see it.
I got to see it. I got to pick it up too. You're not supposed to be picking anything up, but yeah.
Honda Civics between 95 and 2000 will last forever.
Yeah, they will.
Like 25 years.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I ever owned one, but I think just about every friend I ever had.
I brought mine to Vegas all the time for the convention.
Okay, so you drove me and someone else. That's like the first time I ever really had a conversation with you was when we were downtown at doing karaoke, I think. And then you were parked around the corner, and you said, "Yeah, I bring this car because nobody's going to steal this." Like, you know, like,
and it got broken into twice when I was in Vegas while I was there. So
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, everyone else driving around these nice cars, just might as well have a sign on there.
No, I'm thrifty. I am
Yeah.
cheap as hell because I want to live beneath my means and be able to afford a place in Los Angeles. So
Yeah, exactly,
I drove a beat up Honda Civic thinking, whatever, but it turns out that was a nice target for airbags and car stereos all the time too. So
Now, I don't think neither of you two, Seb and Dan, neither of you have ever been to Vegas, right?
I have twice.
Oh, you have? Oh, I
Huh?
didn't. I
Right.
thought for some reason I thought you hadn't. I
Well,
know
maybe three.
Seb
Actually,
hasn't,
three times.
right?
There's 3 times, not twice. 3 times. Yeah, I've been 3 times.
Yeah. When's the last time?
2009, maybe I want to say.
Oh, wow.
And my buddy, you remember my buddy Bob? I think you met him the
Yeah,
one time.
yeah.
Yeah,
we had
and
lunch
we
together.
played a little joke on his future wife's parents that him and his future wife are getting married in Vegas. So we were sending them pictures in front of the chapel and stuff like that. And
Oh,
and
like
they
as
were,
if he already got married?
yeah, and they were
Okay.
freaking out. They were freaking out. Yeah. But it was a fun time. Yeah.
2000. So I went so my wife and I went in for our honeymoon. We actually flew to Anaheim. I think it was Anaheim. I can't remember where it was we flew, but we had this thing where
it
we
would be
got
Orange County if you went to Anaheim.
That's a long
maybe,
drive.
but
That's a
we
long
had
drive.
this. We rented a car and we had this thing, this chain of inns called the Vagabond Inn, and we had these I don't know what you'd call them, vouchers, and we could stay at any Vagabond Inn, and they were across all the southwestern states. So we went to Vegas, we went to I think we might have gone to Arizona, San Diego, and we walked across to Tijuana. And so it was a week we spent down there, and we spent 2 nights in Vegas, and I was only 20, so I wasn't even allowed to gamble at the time, but that was the first time I went to Vegas. And then we went 10 years later for our anniversary, so that would have been 2001. And then I was never there again until 2010, so it would have been after. And then ever since 2010, I've gone every year, sometimes multiple times, and it's so different. Like even if you went now, Dan, you wouldn't even recognize it.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Yeah.
It's so different. And Seb, I mean, it'll be new to you if you ever get there.
Yeah, I'm planning on going. Hi, Mona. We're planning on going in a year or two.
Oh yeah.
I've been to. So it's funny because I've been to Phoenix, I think 13 or 14 times.
Oh wow.
And
I've
every
never
time
been
I
there.
went, I was planning on doing a trip to Vegas. But I always ended up in Tempe and going to all the clubs and bars and whatnot there. And I just missed out on the whole Vegas experience.
Are you
But
guys
ASU
going
was
for-
still awesome. So
Are you guys going for any specific reason?
it's for funsies. I've never been, so I want to
Well,
give it a try, play some poker, do the whole.
make sure you and you guys love concerts, and there's always great concerts. The last time Jeff and I were there together, he skipped out on a wrestling show to go see, was Maroon 5, right?
It was Maroon 5 because the girl I was
Oh.
with wanted to go see Maroon 5, and they actually put on a decent concert. I was
They are
I was
pretty good.
shocked by how many
They
songs I liked.
They are pretty good live. They are pretty.
I've
good live.
never,
and
I've
I'm
never
not
been to a concert
I
in
am
Vegas.
not at all a Maroon 5 fan because I hate their lead singer because we used to do church in a place where he used to rent out for Halloween parties, and then he'd get mad at us when we were trying to set up church, which is just an odd LA story you could have. But live, they were quite good, I thought. So
I wished I would have gone to the Maroon 5 concert, and then you wished you had gone to the show I went to because it had Hiroshi Tanahashi wrestling on it, and I don't think he'd seen him live. And the
Oh, no, I
funny
have.
thing was, had you? Okay, but
Yeah.
it was AEW, and Tony Khan did not advertise that Hiroshi Tanahashi was going to be on the show. So Jeff's like, if they would have said he was on the show, I would have gone. And we were in the second row. We had great tickets. We got hooked up with by.
Didn't
by
Maroon
AEW.
5? Didn't Maroon 5 do the Super Bowl halftime show in like 2019 or something like that? If
I
remember
think
correctly?
so, yeah.
They were
Sounds
terrible. I
right.
remember they were terrible. I think
Yeah.
that was what I was thinking about.
Adam
yeah.
Levine, terrible. Come on,
Oh, it was bad. It was bad.
Mona.
Boy,
Jones, that-
but I'll tell you something. Adam Levine loves himself some Adam Levine.
who? Does? Oh, Adam Levine.
Oh,
I unironically loved him and Blake together on that The Voice.
On The Voice?
yeah.
Yeah,
He's an
I-
interesting coach. I mean, he has some. I mean, if he'd stop, sleeping with some of his contestants, it'd be even better. But
for real.
yeah. Well, there was one that he was rumored to have possibly endangered his marriage in mentoring.
I watched like 5 or 6 seasons of that, or maybe it was like 10 because they were doing 2 a year. and I couldn't tell you a single person that was on that show.
No,
other than the coaches.
Everything fun about The Voice is the auditions.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's pro wrestling because you have people working behind the scenes, and they've already decided who's going against who, and who can we knock out, who has star potential, who has this, who has that. It's just ridiculous stuff.
That reminds me of that one. You remember, Jeff? You probably do. I doubt if Seb or Dan will. Maybe you will. Remember that show, Rockstar?
Okay, I thought you were gonna say Last Comic Standing.
Ran in like that's another one, but it ran around the same time as Last Comic Standing. It was
is that the NXS one, Rockstar, where they were going for the new lead singer?
And then the next year was Supernova, which was like a super group, and that was the biggest work in history because they had decided the winner before that show even started, and the whole thing was to get this guy over as the new lead singer.
They should have, and this actually leads to one of my weird wormholes I went down once. For NXS, they should have just made Terrence Trent D'Arby the lead singer after Michael Hutchins died. If you want to see something that's kind of cool, after he died, NXS was supposed to open up this soccer stadium or something down in Australia and with this big concert, and Hutchins committed suicide like right before that happened, or whatever, the autoerotic asphyxiation. If you don't want to call it suicide, that's fine. And Terrence Trent D'Arby, I forgot what his name he goes by now, but he filled in. And it's awesome. He does New Sensation, and it sounds like James Brown is fronting NXS. And it's freaking great. They do 4 songs. They do that. They do What You Need. They do...
Dan is looking for our closing track as we speak.
They do that. What was it? Never Tear Us Apart. He's really good on that one too. Yeah, I mean it is. The video quality stinks, but Terrence Trent D'Arby fronting NXS is one of those things I think about from like every 3 years or so. I go, God, what would have happened to NXS if that had happened after
that? I mean, I love me some JD Fortune, but that sounds awesome.
So just to confirm, Jeff, are you saying that the suicide was also like wrestling because they decided to belt Michael Hutchins?
Oh my God!
Him and David Carradine, tag champs.
Yeah, Last Comic Standing was a pretty big work as well, eh?
Oh yeah, no, I auditioned for Last Comic Standing. I know all about how dirty that show is because all they did for the auditions was to get B-roll to make fun of people.
I met one of the guys that was a contestant on one of the later seasons, Jimmy Wiggins. Do you know him?
No, I used to do shows with the season 1 winner, Dat Fan, a lot.
He was Jimmy Wiggins was a older guy, like really old, like probably 20 years older than me. And he used to write for George Carlin. And I met him when he was doing stand-up at the local comedy club, and I opened for him, and he sat and drank with me and my buddy like all night. Told joke. He was killing us, just telling jokes. And and then like 15 years after that, I saw him on TV, and he was like the oldest living stand-up, I think was his gimmick. And he died like I don't know, about maybe 10 years after that. But just a great dude. And I mean, I think he was probably in his 80s when he died. But so we're almost out of time here, and so I want to thank everybody. And I know there's been a few people watching and listening. People have been kind of in and out, so I want to thank you for that. And if you were here, great. If you're listening on audio, thanks for listening, and come back next time. We'll be trying to do this every week at Sunday at 6:00 Eastern, 3:00 Pacific, live on YouTube, and then later on, probably the next day, on whatever your favorite audio platform is. So anybody got anything? I don't think Seb and Dan, you got your nerd podcast?
Yeah, the Nerd Culture podcast, but it's I usually do like super random music show that I do every weekend as well, and just play 13 songs at random from a whole bunch of MP3s that I bought, downloaded, and owned, mostly downloaded because I guess early 2000s, my job, they at some point gave us a whole big MP3 drive, and I just took it, and that's it. So I have all these MP3s.
So Google Super Nerds Podcast. That's what it's called.
There's the Nerd Culture Podcast.
Nerd Culture Podcast. Okay, I'm a subscriber. I just couldn't remember the name. And Jeff, you've got your thing. We
I
got our show,
I do a couple of wrestling podcasts. I do one with you called The Dynamite Show on Fight Game Network. I do another one called Shake Them Ropes on Voices of Wrestling. Follow me on Twitter at CrapGame13 for arcane references, bad jokes, 80s references.
All right,
other
and Seb, I guess what do you want to plug? You don't have any podcast, right?
No, but I will be watching some 9-year-old daughter doing gymnastics and my
Awesome.
12-year-old doing some music theater.
She is
Nice.
a star.
What's he
in
What's
the
he doing?
waiting. She.
Oh, she. I thought
What?
he said son.
Oh,
She doing musical theater.
she's preparing for going to Disney now. They're doing a show in November, so we'll be doing that next.
Is it just a
did-
bunch of songs, or is it a specific
Just a bunch
musical of some kind?
No,
Okay.
just a bunch of songs, but it's
Wasn't she
Cool.
wasn't she
It'll be
doing
nice
Anna
for
Green
her.
Gables?
yeah, she's doing that in August. So
Nice.
Those
Yeah,
trips
she's a-
to Disney are fun, and they're bonding experience. 'Cause I did one with my marching band in high school, and
nice.
boy, that was just a blast to do it. Even though it doesn't mean anything, you get to go Disney hang out. That's cool.
thanks.
All right. So for Jeff, for Seb, for Dirty Dan, I've been Paul Fontaine, and this has been the Music Nerds Podcast. Later, everybody.